Welcome to the Man of Thought, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. How are we doing today? Alright. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Man of Thought. Please, if you are joining me, holla at me, double tap your screen and show some likes. Um, Today, I'll be talking about minding your business. Let me give people a few time to join me. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the Man of Thought, aka the Villain of Truth. I'm thinking maybe I have to start this around 7. Do I call it 7 p.m.? Yeah, something like. I was thinking to start today's conversation by 7 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. But at the same time, I'm just trying to see. This is 5 p.m. African time, but I don't know if due to sometimes we have network issues, if I should use this time judiciously, if people would be willing for us to have conversation. And I titled today's subject to be minding your own business or mind your business. There's a reason behind this subject. And trust me, the topic does not have to look so big, but there's a lot of message that I have to talk about regarding this particular stuff, this particular subject. To mind your business. I want to give out few moments. Hello, Christina G. Yeah, welcome. Please, I would love you to double tap your screen and show some likes as it helps the algorithm. Yeah, double tap your screen to show some likes. Know if we should continue on today's conversation. How to mind your business, why you should mind your business. What are the phrases around minding one's business? Thanks, greetings from Helsinki. Okay, Finland, from Finland. Thanks for joining, sir. I don't know if you're a Sa or Ma, but pardon me, I could be wrong. So today's subject, we talk about mind our business, and I would love to have given few time to see those who will be willing to join us along the line. Those who will be willing to join us along the line. I wouldn't have loved to take people's time. I know most times around 7 p.m. That's when most of the Western world, African time, most of the Western world will be awake and then they can actually engage. 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Most people are always live. I would have loved to dive into the subject in a bigger way. In a bigger way. That's what I would have loved to do today. But I would also love to see those who will be joining me live. And we have one person, which is the Christina G, joining me live. I appreciate you for joining. How is Finland? What's going on in Finland? How are you enjoying Finland? Yeah, we have about 4 people joining now. Please, if you're just joining us, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the. It's warm, yeah. That's 25 degrees Celsius. Wow. Today looks cloudy over here in Africa, Nigeria specifically. So please, for those people who are just joining us, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Double tap your screen to show some likes if you want us to engage in today's evening conversation according to our African time. Rokundo Geoffrey says, "Where are you, brother? I'm from Africa, Nigeria specifically." Nigeria specifically. That's where I'm from. Please double tap your screen at the top to show some likes to support the algorithm, to support the channel. As we dive into the conversation for today. I have been contemplating if I should go live by 5 according to the time we are in Saturdays, or I should wait till 7 p.m. Okay, Christina G says that here in Finland, on Finland, we have many Nigerian brothers. Today's topic is basically on minding your business. How am I? How are your perceptions about the Nigerians in Finland? What are the, apart from your perception, what do you think is the society perception in Finland about the Nigerians there? Rokundo, our subject today is regarding minding one's business. And it might sound a little bit simple, but trust me, it's definitely going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting when we begin to dive into the subject. Hmm. Because I have a lot. I have a lot to discuss on when it comes to this idea of mind your business. There's a reason that prompted to this particular conversation. The reason will be so interesting when I begin to break it down. Nigerians are very open people and happy. Their mindset is very joyful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, good day, Lisa. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I was actually thinking earlier if I should hold on and start the program maybe around 7:30 so people can actually engage. But I was like, what's the time there in US right now? Do you think this would be a good time for us to continue on today's conversation, or do you think maybe we give out some time to see if people are going to join later in the day? Because it's definitely going to be engaging. The subject I have is it's more or less going to be interesting in one way. I just know that. It says 12:11 p.m. It's okay. Okay, so this is already daytime. Okay. If you live in Europe, Finland, we we own our own business or something like that. It says our culture is very shy and we like our own life only. Okay. Okay. Own business. I really don't know that. Our culture is very shy and we like our own life. Well, I think there are a few things to learn about Finland. We mind our own business. Okay, yeah. We mind our business. That's exactly the subject I'm talking about. Mind your business. And maybe I just put this out to you. I don't mind my business. In a perception of my conversation is I don't mind my business. And I want us to dive into the subject. It looks like it's nothing, but when we begin to dive in, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot that we are going to learn from it. Trust me. We don't like strangers ask about our things or our money or our family stuff. Okay. You already said something earlier when you said you're shy. Most of the people in the culture are most likely shy. And please, can you let me understand the meaning of HHH? And if you're shy about it, you wouldn't want people to talk about things that you're shy on. It's love. Okay. For someone like me, people can talk about anything in my family. You can talk about anything. The only thing is I wouldn't talk about is maybe sexuality or whatever with my spouse or whatever. But I can talk more about my family. I'm open with the idea of discussing about my family. I love my family. I'm proud of them. And basically, because I'm proud of them, I have nothing to be shy of. In fact, it gives me pride. It is one of the things that boosts my ego. It makes me want to move more in life. This is our own perception. My culture, we was raised to be closed. Most cultures are exactly that way. You're right. Most cultures are exactly that way. Trust me, I understand what you're saying. Please, for those who are just joining us live, I would have loved us to double tap our screen, show at least 3, 4 likes so we can start the conversation for today. Krishna is making some kind of good point, and I love the point from Krishna G. I love the point from Krishna G. It says we don't say hi to neighbors or go to say come to coffee. Amazing. Amazing. That's a very wonderful culture. Please, for those who are joining, double tap your screen and show some like, or if you want us to push forward, just like. I'm enjoying the perceptions of Krishna G. I'm learning a little bit about Finland. There are some cultures who they don't like bringing themselves out to the public. They are shy, they are in, and the rest of it. And trust me, cultures like this last for a very long time. I'm open, but in my culture, it's not okay. Ish means my love, right? You see, the point when it comes to the idea of being open to culture, or we call it culture norms. There are culture norms in the Finland that you have to be shy of something. In my culture, I would even say in the African culture, it's more or less like you have to be proud of who you are. Maybe such sentiment comes from the idea of what they've been through in the past, but we are yet to even dive into the subject itself of mind your business. It's a great thing, at least you're open. And you're right. The word people don't most likely talk about the Finlands and the rest of it. I most likely will do some search on it. And like you said earlier, when you talked about Nigerian, maybe the question would have been that to the Nigerians who are in Finland, do you think they are more open? Do you think people perceive them to be too confident or too open? Or do people enjoy their kind of stuff, or does it obstruct your culture and traditions? For those who are joining live, double tap your screen and show some likes so we can proceed with today's conversation. If I'm not seeing enough likes, at least 3 or 4 for us to continue today's conversation, I most likely wouldn't. People are very stressed here. Wow. Amazing. What are they stressed from? What are they stressed from? Hmm. Those who are joining live, double tap your screen, show some likes. If you want us to dive into today's conversation, please double tap your screen and show some likes. Talking about Anunnaki today. Lisa wants me to talk about Anunnaki. I have to create time. Maybe tomorrow noon African time. I might touch on the subject. I might touch on the subject. You see, and sometimes I think if I want to discuss on the subject, it's not something that I have to do on live, or perhaps if I want to talk about it on live, then I have to turn off the comment section, turn off everything, so I don't get distracted by all kinds of questions popping in, because these stories are kind of complex and people would want to have a lot of questions, but you would have to be able to give out the story to the world first, let them listen to it, and then they can think. And so I know about, or more or less, what my audience are willing to listen to. I understand these things, and so I'm giving them exactly what we need to ask questions. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to ask questions. The only thing is, you know, yesterday, so can you eventually turn on the comments? Yes, definitely. So that means when I'm done with the conversation, then I can turn on the comments and then people can write in. Yesterday, I think I was talking to Rusty, and we were thinking of maybe I get a phone, and people can call in, stuff like that, so people can call in and ask questions, rather than sometimes when someone is trying to ask a question on live, there could be too many questions coming in at once. Yes, once I'm done with the presentation, then comments can come in. Absolutely. That's what I'm looking at. But today I decided to touch on minding one's business, or mind your business, or mind one's business. And there's a reason for that. Very strict life. Krishna Ji says, sorry I got off. People are very stressed of work, cost of life. Yeah, you can't relax. It's very strict life. Amazing. I sometimes talk to my African brothers. I always give them some advice. The problem is that sometimes one needs to choose their battle wisely. You have to choose your battle wisely. That particular statement makes a lot of sense to me. I don't struggle with my nation. I don't struggle with my city. Whatever my nations are doing, that's their thing. There is a life apart from the urban life. There's a life apart from the city life. But we have become a society whereby we want to be noticed by everyone. And that has become more or less why it takes a lot of joy from us. In fact, I would say this: we are one of the most blessed society that has ever existed in any generation, according to history. Yet we are the most horrible and miserable people on earth at the same time. And you might ask me, what are the evidence to back it up? Look at the types of sicknesses we have recorded since 1960 till now. How many kind of sicknesses, stress, diseases we have been able to get since then? The stress level is so high in a society that is blessed. Why? We are pursuing the wrong thing. Lisa, I'm so sorry that I did not talk about Anunnaki today. I will talk about it Definitely, I will start the subject tomorrow because Anunnaki stories are not what you just come up and you just narrate it fully. You let people to walk with it. It is a story. You have to let people walk with the story so it makes sense to them. For those who already have had glimpse or some information about it, you want to just dive deep. But it's good you work with people so they begin to ask themselves few questions. The idea is not to tell the story. The idea is to awaken people's consciousness so they can ask the right question. So I was telling people, if please, if you're joining, double tap your screen and show some likes. I don't know. Maybe we should come an hour from now or 2 hours from now. That's going to be 7 p.m. So people can join us live. I'm extremely interested in the religious and exist that existed before the three major religions of today. I also love to study old maps. All right. All right. Hmm. Definitely what I would do is I'll make out time to talk about it tomorrow. That's what I and I'm just gonna be recording it because of you. So maybe I will give out a time. That should be around maybe this same time tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. Maybe this same time tomorrow. I would have an episode around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Every Sunday I do. So by 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. African time, same time like this tomorrow, then I will touch on the stories of the Anunnakis so we can learn and open our mind to the possibilities. Please, for those who are joining us live, please double tap your screen and show some likes so we can dive into today's conversation. Krishna has given me some insights about things that are going on in the Finland and why they mind their business over there. And she actually pointed out, is it he actually pointed out on the idea of stress and what the society is actually going through. And I think every society is actually going through stress at the moment. One thing is for us to know how to disengage ourselves from certain things. That's only how we don't get stressed. So please double tap your screen. Let's have at least 3 likes so we can start today's conversation. One more like and we can start today's conversation. Lisa, um, what was your were you there this morning when we had conversation about I think what was this morning's topic about? I think actions that contradict our request. What was your perception on that subject? What were you able to take away from it? Okay, you were not online this morning. Okay, I thought I saw you this morning joining us live. Today. Okay. 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 I talk about actions that contradict our requests or our desires. Please, for those who are joining, please double tap your screen and show some like. 3 like, then we can proceed with today's conversation. One more like, we can proceed with today's conversation. I'm actually waiting for one more like to see so it notifies others that I'm live, number one, and then at least I need to be sure it is just my audience, those who actually want to listen. Those are the people I'm actually speaking to. Double tap your screen. One more like, and then we dive into today's conversation. Okay, we have three. We do. Let me put on my fan. Oh, Creed, thanks for joining. I'll be back now. Let me just turn on my fan. Give me a few seconds, 20 seconds. I'm doing great. Yeah. Today we want to discuss about mind your business. And that's the purpose of today's conversation. And something prompted to it. I received some call after my conversations and I observed about day before yesterday, today, I started receiving some calls. People communicate with me. I talk to a lot of people in diasporas every single time. So I started looking into people's concern. Part of the conversations begin to change. And I was asking myself, why did why is there a sudden change that most times women talk to me? A lot of women talk to me. But suddenly I realized that men were now interested in talking to me. And one of the things they were saying was that, what do I really understand about the black culture? What do I understand about this and that and that? And we discuss on different level. But I paid attention to something. I saw that most people were somehow upset. And the people who were upset were basically simply because of my advice to the black women. Shinode. So it was basically because of the advice I begin to give to the black women. And certain people were saying um, they agree with some of my points or some of my views. They agree with this, they agree with that, they agree with this, they agree with that. But there's something that, don't I think that if I focus more on my issues, on my country and the rest of it, that it will be fine? And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Well, if you go towards my channel, I talk to my Nigerian brothers and sisters, the ones here and the ones in diaspora. In fact, during the time that we wanted to start this protest in Nigeria about fuel prices and the rest of it, I told Nigerians that it's not going to result to anything. I do not care because there were no strategy for the protest. And because there were no strategy, it's just going to be a waste of time. You do not go into battle with corrupt people without being strategic. They didn't listen. I told them already what the outcome is going to be, and the outcome was exactly how I predicted. In our culture, they say that when a child is cutting the palm tree, the adults or the grown up or an elder will stay from far and they know where that palm tree is going to fall. They will say tomode bang gegbo gogede nigbo àgbàlagbà ló mọ ibi tí ó máa wó sí, which is simply was what I just narrated. When a child is cutting the palm tree or cutting the plantain tree, the elderly ones are the ones who know where it's going to fall. So I talked to my people. Even yesterday, that tends to be, was yesterday not 5th of September or 6th of September? There was a lady, a young girl that was called Christiana, and she was murdered. I spoke about anything that has to do with Nigeria. I talk about it. But most likely, I talk about people in diaspora, the blacks and the Africans, and some men were kind of angry. And I was looking at them. I was like, oh, what's actually going on here? Lisa says the cysts. Please, what's the cysts? I don't understand what the cysts actually mean. When I begin to touch on the subject that has to do with the black women, most black men became interested in the subject. Yes, yesterday was the cyst. Okay, yeah. And they were like, let me just focus on my Nigerian things. They know if they look into our culture, Nigeria or Africa, they are going to see something that is wrong about it. So why not I just focus on what is the issue with African rather than focusing on what is going on with the black Americans. And it drew my attention. What I just said was, okay, you guys are specifically talking about one of the video I made. And the video I made was when I said that the black men are not protecting the black women. And I was giving an advice to the black women that most times in the dating world, you guys need to reconsider dating more of African men, because they will cherish you and they have more values, or they have other kinds of values. Because I wouldn't say that an African man, a pure African man, or a black American man, I do not think an African man is superior over a black American man. Their values might be different. But I think for a black woman to be able to have a long-lasting relationship, she needs people who already knows how to hold down relationship, who can provide values that is beyond just money. But the black men are kind of worried. There was one I talked about, the AI. I think I talked about AI effects on relationship, stuff like that. If you go to that page, you would even see some comments there. But they were worried, and I said, because black men are not willing to protect their women, and so are they willing to see that most of the black women don't get married? Because trust me, if a black woman tells you, I'm not interested in any relationship, I'm not interested in all of that, it's just pure hatred. She's fed up. It's just pure hatred. It's a state of mind that I have tried everything to make it work. Perhaps she might be part of the problem, but it's basically she's fed up and she don't have a leader to put her through. And so I gave that advice. And I see that sometimes when you say things and it brings up or it stirs up a reaction from certain individuals, it's either you are saying the truth or you're challenging them for something. And the moment people realize I begin to give advice to the black women to focus on, perhaps you want to date, since nobody's coming for you, date the African men. The African men would accept you. Then it is a threat to most of the black American men. We help shield them from it as a first result. It says they feel that interracial marriage will help shield them from it as a first result. One thing all of them said was I was making sense. One thing all of them said was they appreciate my insight. But one of the things I could see was they are saying, Leave our ladies alone and just focus on your nation and other subjects. Don't talk about our ladies. So that's why I started with minding your business. In fact, some of them told me that, oh, you can just, discuss about something else and leave this kind of. And I'm like, if you're doing well, you're getting married to other ladies, why should you be worried about other ladies who want to get married to somebody else? I'm just giving out my own insight. And the question is, should I mind my business? I don't think I need to mind my business. And here are the reasons. Life is sometimes you have to mind your business, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, what is the business that you are actually minding? Now, initially, I would say some black women, I speak to a lot of black women who are the Western culture. I'm not. Good day, Miss Anyron. I'm not minding my business. Trust me. I'm not minding my business. On the subject, I'm not minding my business. I speak to a lot of black women. I speak to black men and the rest of it. And I have said this. I think I've emphasized on this so many times that I have many African brothers who are married in the Western culture to the white woman, maybe so they can have their green card and the rest of it. Good morning. Glad to catch the live. You're welcome. Maybe so they can have the green card there and they have few kids over there, but they come to Africa here and they establish a lot of relationship. So as time went on, I began to pay attention to what was going on social media. I began to discuss with a lot of black women. Part of the things I was able to realize out of their discussion, first of all, was that what social media was showing to the world about the black woman is just a perception, so you can despise the black woman. Are some of them true? Yes. But are everything true? Nope. The same way they portray the image of Africans to the Western people, like we are living in a jungle. And there is a power in how you narrate a story. And so when I begin to dive into it, I realized that, okay, let me go out of this particular side. Let us even focus on the social media space. I was watching all kinds of social media space. Please, whatever I'm saying, you can go do a little bit of findings. When you go towards every social media space, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, what I can see for sure is what the black men are saying about the black women. There is no compliment. From the days of Kevin Samuels to the Fresh and Fit to the Red Pill community, to you can't just go to a channel and they tell you about good relationship between men and women and how they've been harmonizing, or what are the things they need to sacrifice and commit to make relationship function. I don't see that conversation. Everything is just how to tell the woman that you are so high value and ignore her and get married to those people who value you. And I'm like, is this a conversation? In Nigeria, yeah, some of our women are also, I wouldn't ask you to date some women. But if you look at the social media space of Africans, we do not belittle our women simply because they are not perfect in certain things. The men are not perfect. We as the African men, we are not perfect. Our women are not perfect. But when you begin to put out the narration to the world that, oh, our women is this, our women is this, our women is this, why are we not even speaking about a subject on how do you even get a good woman? What are the traits to be able to get a good woman? The only thing you hear from most black people is she belongs to the streets. Go with your PhD and your BSc and the rest of it. Yes, we can fight. The question is, what are the solutions? What are we acting upon to make sure we can have a good generations to come? Lisa says African men come to America and get their education and make their money and rise up into a nice, comfortable life. That's all black American women also want from our men. But our men hate education. It is absolutely what I'm saying. It is rare. It is rare for you to see a successful African man in the Western culture that does not have a family in Africa. Why? He's supporting his community, he's supporting his people. I cannot make a law to tell the African men this is how you, or the black American men, this is how to live your life. No, I can't do that. I can't say you should just get married to one particular woman and not get married to another woman, or you shouldn't be polygamous. I don't have the power. I can't even think of saying it. But I think if you treat a particular woman fine and you're able to manage a good relationship with a woman, if she feels satisfied in it, in the relationship, she most likely would not care much about the things that you do. Is she going to talk about it? Yes. But at least she knows you are committed in the relationship you have with her. And I always say something, black American men can go anywhere and date anywhere in the world. They are going to be accepted. But basically, because the social media is turning on the black woman, it's making it difficult for people to see the black woman in a good light. And trust me, African men don't give a damn about what they say as much as they know you are a good person. As much as they know these are your values, they tell you this is our culture, our traditions, and they find a way to work. An African man would not think of just walking away whenever things go bad. He might not talk that much. And I know that one of the things that I've seen about the black American women most times is that they love communication. They always want open communication. Absolutely. Absolutely. The African men, they know exactly what they want and they find a way to balance. We have a lot of people who get married. Old people get married to young people get married to old people get married. One thing is for sure, it is most likely long relationship. The challenges we might have in Africa are the widows. And that is the fault of most religion because pastors wants to marry all the widows. So, but for other women, they have a life to live. Open communication is best. It's key to many problems. Now, I have said this earlier that black American women love open communication and they always want to connect with you, talk to you about everything. And I say something. I said, the language of a man might not be about constant communication because he most likely would not tell you everything within his heart. In fact, it is the mystery of a man that makes a woman truly get attracted to him. But one thing is this, if a woman loves good communication, the best thing you can do is give her a platform to always have that communication. Now, what do you do? If I have a woman who loves communication, I have a sister, an elder sister, a junior sister who loves my spouse as much as I love my spouse, if not even more. So she has that person to always communicate with if I'm not there for her to communicate with. She talks to that person. She talks to my elder sister. She talks to my younger sister. She talks to my mom. She talks to my family members. She have a lot of people she can always relate. And with that, it gives her the sense of belonging within a family. The reason why most of them step away is because they know there is no ground for them to actually say, maybe I should trust this particular ground. Maybe I belong in a set of place. But when they think that, oh, I don't belong anywhere, they become paranoid. Absolutely. She says our downfall and division is another group's gain. This division is by design, which the black American male does not see or understand. Exactly what I said to them. And then, out of all my videos, nothing drew your attention until I said the black women can go ahead and find a way for us to work to make sure that you can work with the African men. I didn't say Nigeria. I didn't say Yoruba. I didn't say tribe. I didn't call my tribe. I didn't call my nation. I'm like African men, because African men can provide some values that differs from the value that most people think that is the value you can actually provide for a woman. It is high time for men to provide more values than the previous value. But rather than you to look at yourself and question yourself and reflect and say, how do I evolve? Rather, you pick the enemy with the black woman. When a woman tells you, how are we going to make it? How are we going to succeed? How are we going to make sure this relationship work? She's telling you that I believe in you. I trust the fact that you're a leader. I trust the fact that you can do something about this. Hello, Mr. Rusty. Welcome. I believe you can do something about this. And what you're supposed to do, I've been in this situation. My wife has asked me some tough question that makes me reflect. And when I look at it, you might be emotional. Every single time you get angry, there's something there. There's something there. You have to look at, why am I angry when someone says something like this? It is either the person is challenging you or the person is awakening you to be conscious of your responsibility or of the fact that they trust you. Because when the woman does not trust you anymore, she's not even going to ask you anything again. And then, when most men begin to complain about women, the question is this: what kind of women are you going for? What women are drawing your attention every single time? You meet a lady in the street, the one that does BBL, the one that pumps her lips, the ones that does eyelashes. Some people's eyelashes, what can I use as an example? You are going to see eyelashes as long as this. You are attracted to such a woman, and then you say they are no good women. And then you judge every other woman, every other black woman, and you say they are all the same. In Nigeria, if you're looking for prostitute, you will see them. And if you're looking for a good wife, you will find them. All you have to do as a man is do the work. Most men, You participate in the act of looking for a prostitute and then you're searching for a wife. How does that work? You encourage most of the ladies to participate in prostitution and then you're seeking for a wife. That's a big problem. It is a big problem. When I was looking for my wife, I wasn't looking for any other thing. You can't get distracted. The Bible says, he who finds a wife. So that means you have to search for it. He who finds a wife, you must be deliberate about it. Absolutely. Trying to turn Jezebel into a wife. And then when a Jezebel does not convert into a wife, then you assume all women are Jezebel. I once told people this. I have said it before. I have been in my relationship with my wife for 2 good years. My wife was the one who takes care of the family financially for good 2 years. But she could not even see me less. Why? Because there were other things of my value that she could see, and she respects those values. The problem is that a lot of men only lead by money, and when there is no money and they think that they cannot impress the woman with money, then they get upset. Then they are like, I can't please you anymore. Then they label you different things. In fact, out of all the same men who kind of label the women to be this and that, the question is that who inside of them are leading by good example? Rupesh K, thanks for joining. None of them are actually leading by example. I wouldn't say none of them. I think that's extreme. I would say most of them, or some of them. Because I think that those who actually knows the value of a black woman, or the value, you see, I don't know, it's not about black woman and not black woman. You have to understand that you came from a source. And when I was having a conversation this morning, I was speaking about you understanding that before you can push forward or know your vision in life, you have to know your past, you have to know your history. And I said that reading your history does not make you know your history. Having knowledge of your history does not mean you know your history until you are committed to the continuation of everything that has happened in your history. That is when you are effective in understanding fully your history, because you can read something yet you don't have experience about it. It says, I feel black American men should marry African women and black American women should marry African men in order to save themselves. It sounds interesting. It looks possible. Because I can say this, women need people to show them that it is possible and you can confide in me. In order to save their race, absolutely. Rusty says, race baiting, men hating anything else. I could not get that Rema. there's something one of my a friend of mine from the US, she told me a lot of things about black American women. And she says that most times when black American women, some of them, the system is the US sees a healthy, functioning black family as a threat. Absolutely. One of my friends told me something in the US. She said that most black women, when they see that their man does something, maybe they find themselves in a relationship that is kind of abusive, domestic or violent relationship, they hate reporting to the cops because they understand that their men will be going to prison. So they try to protect their men. And the black woman is always trying to protect their men so their men does not go to prison. But the question was, are the men reciprocating same protection to their women, even on social media? Just even on social media. If a lot of women are in a bad relationship and they are being beaten, being assaulted, and going through this stuff, and they understand that reporting to the law enforcement might take their spouse to jail and they want to protect him, the least he could do is to say good things about his wife or about his spouse. Why are every one of them jumping on live? In fact, it becomes a pleasure for most of them to belittle the women. You see, and the rose says, "Hello, doing well. Good to see you." Okay, I think you're talking to America had a healthy functioning black family run the country though. And Ron, America had a healthy functioning black family run the country though. I don't know about that. Are you talking about Barack Obama? Mr. Rusty, are you talking about Barack Obama? One of the things I've done, it seems these days I'm beginning to get used to your mind. You know, sometimes when it gets to certain issues, we talk about minding our business. But what did that healthy black family do for the black community? US do not see American healthy functioning families as a threat at all. Seven says Rusty smokes a lot of be careful what you wish for. Seven. Be careful what you wish for. Now, let me just touch on a few things. Let's talk about minding one's business. Because I was told while I was growing up to mind business. I know a lot of things that has to do with minding of business. Number one is like minding one business means focusing on your own affairs, responsibilities, you might even say personal goals, rather than becoming involved in or overly concerned with the activities or issues of others. They say it is about setting healthy boundaries and avoiding unnecessary distractions or conflict. What are the reasons that we should mind our business? What are the reasons why we should mind our business? Number one, it is for preservation of energy. Because when you focus on your own goals and issues, you Reserve mental, emotional, and physical energy for things that actually matters to your own growth and well-being. Number 2, it helps you to avoid unnecessary drama. Because getting involved in other people's gossip or problem can lead to unnecessary stress and drama. It also helps maintain peaceful relationship. Rusty, please just leave it. It's part of the royal family. Then part of it, why you mind your business, is a respect for privacy. Respecting others' personal space and decisions foster mutual respect and trust. People appreciate when you don't pry or judge them. People appreciate when you don't judge them. Part of the things about minding business is for personal growth. Because when you focus on yourself and your business, you are better positioned for self-improvement, achieving your goals, and becoming a better person. Stress reduction. By not involving yourself in other people's issues, you lower the risk of getting emotionally dragged into conflict or situations that have nothing to do with you. So I am absolutely aware. I am absolutely aware. The question is this: why should we put ourselves in situations that has nothing to do with us? Sometimes we need to understand that there's what we call border purpose. By extending our focus beyond ourselves, we align with higher purpose. Life becomes more meaningful when you contribute to the well-being of humanity and make an impact beyond your immediate circle. Number 2, interconnection or interconnected. We are all connected, and the challenges others face eventually affect us, whether directly or indirectly. By understanding and contributing to the global issues, we foster a world where everyone, including ourselves and family, can strive. So for people who rejoice when other people are going through turmoil in life and they're like, as much as it's not affecting me, it has nothing to do with me, then it is a level of mindset that you have. And when you have a small mindset, you think everything you have to do should be just for you. I always use my community as an example. When you have confidence to be able to pull out something, to help people, to be able to see certain things and to be able to fix their life and flourish as people, I think it is the work of God, and it is a work of God to mankind for every single one of us to participate in it. In fact, Jesus could have lived for 100 years. Tell me why he died. So when I speak about other issues, it's not because I don't know where I need to get to. It is basically because I am trying to extend a hand. One of the things I've seen so far when it comes to the idea of my community, I have realized that a lot of people in diaspora, my African brothers and sisters who are there, most of them are fixing some parts of Nigeria by how they invest. And so I've been telling people that perhaps you are not paying attention to these things, and you are not seeing the positive light that just because they could flourish in one angle, that's the reason why we can benefit from these things. And we want to focus on just minding our business. Let us extend our own hands in the best way we can. One of the things I also know is that they say curiosity kills the cat. Most people have always said it that curiosity kills the cat. But one thing I know for sure about curiosity is that children learn and they evolve and they grow and they become smart in life simply because they are curious. Lisa says black American women wants to remain black. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you put a Lhasa puppy and a Lhasa puppy, or a Lhasa dog and a Lhasa dog, they want to meet with each other. When you put a German Shepherd and a Bulldog, German Shepherd wants to mix with German Shepherd. So if only animals, if an animal can understand the importance of connection with their kind, how much more humans thinking that it is better to mix race. There's nothing wrong if we want to mix race. The only thing is this: do we want to deny us? See, one of the things I've learned is when it comes to my society or my community, I don't care. If you tell me someone is oppressed right now, even about 2 weeks ago, I think I came on live and I spoke about it. There are people who I don't need to know, but once you tell me these people have been oppressed by this and this and this, I think the essence of my life or the essence of my knowledge is to push out a hand to those people. And so the same thing, that's the reason why I make a decision not to just mind my business, but to extend my hands. Because I will say this: I know the effect and the good of the black men and the black women who I've communicated with. In fact, I don't only speak to my race. I don't only speak to my race. I have a lot of people who have communicated with me, and they don't necessarily have to be my race. But when it comes to my race, I have to speak to those people. Now, you might say African and Black American, one way or the other, maybe there's a little bit of distinction. I don't know. Conspiracy. Okay. Anyone says, I believe it causes issues when races mix in relationships. I experience it in my own family. It's trauma. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. And this is the reason why we have to focus on the race. I don't we have to focus on the black race, on the African race. And I'm saying this to women, to the black women, there is an open door for you to have great or good relationship. Now, are there little works to do? Yes. Because when you still flow on the mind, if you perhaps have the mind that all men ain't shit, you hinder yourself from flourishing into a better relationship. For Rusty, Rusty says it depends. I was listening to something yesterday. Okay, we can remember that I've forgotten where Rwanda. There was a guy who did something in the UK, for example. A guy did something that I think that the story came up about last month or last 2 months in the UK, where an African child who was born in the UK, but the family was a descendant of Rwanda, and they said he stabbed some babies, and then due to misinformation, some of the indigenous people in the UK begin to go after the black people. So let's ask ourselves a question. Regardless of the fact that the boy is actually born in the UK, yet they still see him as black. If he was a white person, or if he was an indigenous generation from the UK, would the blacks have been attacked? Would the black have been attacked? It is a question. Rusty, most times we both see eye on almost everything. And I'm not trying to be right. It wasn't hate to the black, it was hate to this Islam because they were fed wrong information. Well, Rusty, part of the things I was able to see, and some of my friends showed me, and part of the things that were on Instagram, they were going to attack certain individuals who are just blacks driving, not asking them if they are Islam. They were not specifically asking them, are you an Islam? Once they see that you are a black person in the car driving, they stop you and they begin to hit your car. There is no time for conversation. And I'm asking, if that person was seen exactly as them, would they have done that? Everything we saw on social media, I have friends who are not in the UK who work on different, and they told me different things. Though they told me it was going around is it 2 cities? Not everywhere in the UK. That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's exactly what Enron was actually pointing to. Seven, in the idea of when we are making conversations, the idea is for us to learn. Why I come live and I speak to people, I want to learn. There are things I most likely might be ignorant of, but I don't think it should be encouraged for us to keep attacking each other simply because we did not align with the same view. When I made some point, Rusty might not get exactly where I'm going, but after a period of time, he was able to understand where I'm going, and so he said, "Okay, I have seen this particular aspect." He agrees. We are not trying to turn here into Royal Rumble. We are all trying to learn, and I respect everyone, regardless of where you come from. I want us to grow in one love. Trust me, Rusty is a nice person, and I believe you are also a nice person. With that being said, Lisa says it's not wrong to want to survive. Absolutely. And Ron says that's right because not having the conversation keeps dividing us. Now, there are few things that I've been thinking about regarding the blacks and African. And part of the things that I've been pointing out to and what I'm saying is like, do we find a way to network with some African brothers and have some live shows and discuss on this subject? And so the some of please let me even ask, would some of the black people, and I use the word black for us to was it Lisa who corrected me that say foundational black Americans, um would we be willing to have a conversation if we can network and reach out to some African brothers to speak extensively on our perceptions and how we can make sure these things people can flourish in relationship? Perhaps my expectation is that I understand I am a man, so I can speak from a man's perspective. And what I can say about men's perspective is that when a man sees that people are not willing to relate with his wife or girlfriend and he has issues with the girlfriend or his wife, he would assume in his mind psychologically that he was doing better not having her, because nobody wants to have what someone else does not want. And because they have fed themselves with such information, it is more or less that is the reason why they strive in saying that, okay, let's the black women. To me, I don't know. I don't see the efforts that most some black men are putting. There could be people who are having great relationship. They could be, but I'm like, what are the efforts they are actually putting to make sure the narration actually change? But also we need to understand that I have put it out to most black people that can we have a conversation, maybe while we are live. I think I spoke to Rusty yesterday and we were thinking that sometimes we can have conversations so they can be called and we can ask questions. And I'm also thinking of the idea of maybe we can have a group Zoom YouTube stream, and you don't necessarily need to come live, but you need to be able to share your viewpoint. So I'm thinking, will certain women be interested? Some black people, would you guys be interested if we can work on this? There are some ladies that I know that they so much hate attack, and I have some black people who are like, oh, I love to. They love to talk to me privately. I've spoken to a lot of people privately, but when I say let's go on live and discuss about things, okay, anyone says she's totally interested. Lisa, would you? Is Lisa there? Would Lisa be interested as time goes on? Maybe not now. If you will, please indicate. Please, maybe you write to me, and so we can prepare for this to make sure things move forward. The idea is to start the conversation, the understanding of everything, and then you can learn. It is a platform whereby we can learn. Okay, what are the things about the cultures? Perhaps in this conversation, it is also possible that the black men can also listen to this and understand that, oh, apart from the financial values that I have, I can have more values that are not just based on finances. And it can help them to make decisions on how to date, or perhaps educate the younger ones, the younger men. I understand when Rusty says the trust me, the color of skin being black was not the issue. Trust me, I understand that point clearly. But this is what I would say. Most of the things that a black man would most likely endure with a different race, they wouldn't tolerate it from their race. Based off what we see, what I notice is that there are people during the time when we were seeing all those things on social media. There are people. Okay, let's ask ourselves the question. This question. I think the prime minister came out and talked about is not going to condone the old stuff. He's not going to condone the people going against the blacks or attacking the blacks, and they call them far right. And he said he was going to deal with them. I haven't been able to hear any updates. Rusty, is there any update of what he has done to the people? Okay, Lisa, I was asking a question that what if we could network with the Africans and with some African brother, and we can come live and have this conversation between the African brothers and the black ladies or the black women, and then it might help for you to understand the culture and the tradition and other values that Africans have. This might foster more closer relationship, and it might also educate some of the black men to understand that their values might not just be based off finances, because they could learn from African men, some African men, that value is not only based off money. And then, because I can say it for a fact that looking at it from most of the black men, they think that there's nothing, they are not useful or valuable to the black woman. And it is basically because the narration they have in their mind is basically the fact that my value is based on what I can give. And so if she have everything and there's nothing I can give to her, then I'm useless. So I was asking, would you be interested in joining? You don't necessarily have to put on your camera. You can just, turn off your camera and you can join us live when we have conversations like this. It's something we can work on. And Ron says she will be interested. And so I was asking if you also would be willing, because I've spoken to a lot of black women who have communicated about these issues with me. But at the end of the day, when it comes to life, they are kind of scared of I don't know. They say maybe they don't want people to attack them on social media or stuff like that. So I was putting it out to you. If you're still there, it says the rioters got jailed. Maybe not all of them yet, but police let out loads of prisoners here to allow space for all the rioters they arrested and jailed. So Lisa, are you there? Rioters here are a very, very tiny percentage of our population, bro. But they get the most attention in times like this. Yeah, so I was asking a question, Miss Lisa. Would you perhaps want to, you guys might have few experience, and you can share some of your experiences, and maybe we just pick out dates sometime, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, maybe once we can start little by little, and with time, let's see where we go with that. 7, you are always welcome, sir. That's context for a higher level of education interest. Am I welcome? Yes, absolutely. 7, you are welcome. Absolutely. Yes. What I can do is I tried using StreamYard yesterday. You would observe I was trying something new. The video chat. That's video chatting. I'm not yet used to the StreamYard thing, but one thing I can do is I can send a link to people. And if I send you a link, once you click on that link, I would add you as a guest on the platform. You will be able to have a audio record. You can turn off your camera, but you will be part of the conversation and your voice will be heard. That's video chatting. Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. And Ron says, Rusty, there's racism in UK. It would be nice if it wasn't, but it exists, sir. When I spoke to the enlightened one also, he touched on classes. In fact, when he was addressing the idea of UK, he said there are classes in UK. Love each other, support each other. It is. I'm merely saying it's a very, very small percentage of the UK who think like that. Here's what I would summarize with. I think the gift of everyone is different. And in the gift of everyone, there are levels to what everyone can engage with. Certain people have to face family traumas, certain people have to face history, certain people have to correct something that have happened in the past, and certain people would have to invent things. The question is, what are you competent of doing? I don't think if a man or few people are enjoying their relationship or their family, and you don't want to give to the world, I don't know if I would say it's okay, but I think you have the right to do that. I am absolutely doing fine in many ways in my life, but I also think it is important, and there's a call and there's a purpose for all these conversations. So, with that being said, I don't mind my business for those individuals who have been contacting me to know exactly what's in my mind when it comes to the black people. If that actually draws your attention, you can address the issue by starting to have a conversation with the black woman. Because what other alternative would you guys have wished? Would the alternative be that you want to erase the old black woman because she doesn't fit the profile of what you imagine? And when someone else speaks about it, it seems as if the world is about to crumble on you. So that's the reason why I came up today to talk about mind your business. Tomorrow, most likely, I'll be talking on Anunnaki um, tomorrow evening. But in the morning, we are going to be having a Sunday service. Hopefully, Rusty will be there. Yeah. Lisa says exactly. So if you want me to mind my business, you have a long way to go. So 7, you can get in touch anytime. Lisa, and Ron and the rest of us, we can have conversations as time goes on. We will touch on this maybe this week, and so we can maybe after a period of time, we can talk offline also. Please reach out to me. My WhatsApp number is there, or you can reach out to me through my email. It's on my page there. You can write to me, and let's look into some stuff. I have to communicate with all other people. I have to network with other people, and so we can start conversations like this and see what are the possible ways. And I believe that when people begin to see these things, because majority of them have been watching all kinds of videos that I make, and it wasn't drawing any attention to them until it becomes the liberation of the black woman to be able to engage with the black man, then the world turned upside down. So black American men want black women to look more like, don't let me finish that word. Absolutely. America. Okay, you say they prefer mixed women. That's why they prefer to go to South America rather than Africa. I think most people just like to play all kinds of games, because the question is that what are they actually committed to? That's only when you can actually speak. What are they actually committed to? And I also understand that all these things happen with most of the black men due to part of the things I read, the absence of fathers. So most people have not known how to specifically be a good husband or be a good father. And some people think that being a good husband is about the excitement and your woman begins to worship you and the rest of it. And those are the wrong mentality. That's a wrong mentality. He says they have a lot of self-hate. That's a wrong mentality to think that the world is supposed to worship you. You are supposed to create an environment that is sustainable where people can respect regardless of your of your disputes or your perception with those people, you should have something that you can communicate with these people and you can have a respectful conversations. And at the end of the day, you have to lead by example. And to lead by example, it's not easy. Our desires and pleasure and the rest of it, you can't keep chasing after a harlot and then you are seeking for a wife. It doesn't work that way. Life does not work that way. Of victim, it says they are stuck in a perpetual space of victimhood. Hopefully one day Dr. Umar Johnson will not say, I want to speak to the man of thought. Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, Academy, all because of my point of views. Um, but anytime he wouldn't speak to me, he would speak with the higher self of me. And I love the fact it talks about consciousness. And then we are going to question a lot about consciousness. The problem will be the grammar. You might speak big grammar, but I will speak in the simplest term I can. And then one thing is going to resonate and reveal the truths as time goes on. The truth is that all we need is love. As humans, all we need is love and to support one another. And you cannot abandon your people or you can't abandon your race and try to please another race. I do not care what anyone says. You cannot displease your race and please another race and you see that to be success. It is not success. If you abandon, there's a difference. I'm not saying you can love your race, you can support your race, and then maybe you relate with other race. That's beautiful. That's what the world is all about. Love, love, love. Spread it. But most people would abandon the responsibility for their race and then they focus on something else. And at the end of the day, we have issue. Rosa says all you need is love. Do. With that being said, we've come to the end of today's what do we call it? Today's live stream. Please, if you haven't subscribe to the channel. If you want to join membership, the floor is open. You can join membership. Support, like, and share. Let it get to the world as possible. Reach out to the friends who are willing to think about things. Share it with them, and let's see a way forward. With that being said, I appreciate every single one of us for your support, regardless of the fact that sometimes Rusty and Seven, they are having their issues. Service tomorrow, sir. It's going to be 8 a.m. 8:30 a.m. African time or 8 a.m. African time. But I'll put out a live stream, a notification this night. So 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, African time, Nigerian time specifically. I think Seven is having an eye opener, bro. Have a blessed day. See you in my next video. You call it, yeah, so I call it service. The reason why I title it service, I don't talk about service, but the reason why I title it service is Sundays, most people talk about religious perspective. And so I touch on that religious perspective in a different angle. I love that. So let's meet by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a great night. See you in the next video. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.